But welcome to another episode of LND Talk. This is where we're talking the playoffs, the 2025 season. Jets wins his second Super Bowl out of three. Jets Bears trifecta, the trilogy, hopefully complete now. Who knows at this point? I'm joined by C-Mart and the Jets here. Jetsmafia, which I think he's a Bears fan, but Discord's name is Jetsmafia. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good.
So, I mean, how was your this past playoffs? Was it any harder or any difference from the last 2 years?
Um, who obviously in the NF or the AFC Championship, it was tough with Nubdini losing Anthony Richardson late in that game. Obviously, that was going down to the wire. But I feel like in the first, I think I've played the Chiefs now like 3 years in a row in the playoffs, and it's like every year it's the same thing. It's like I'm gonna win, but it's like, do I win close or do I blow them out? And in the regular season, I won close last year, and every time I hit them in the playoffs, I'm blowing them out. But other than that, it was I would say it was tougher than the first season at in LND.
Yeah, I want to say yes, same, but I ended up winning 52 to 32 and then 39-13, which the NFC Championship I expected to be a little bit harder because me and Cowboys went neck and neck in the regular season. But that's how you feel about the Chiefs, how I feel about the Cowboys. I,
Yeah,
I'm gonna beat them, but it's either gonna be really close or I'll blow them out. But starting at the top, you had the Cowboys and Panthers. Cowboys take care of business 43 to 7. Watching that was Panthers just was kind of outclassed. I don't really nothing much other than that. I don't know if you guys even watched or anything to add.
No, I didn't watch, but I think we had predicted, or at least I had predicted that I think Cowboys was gonna get that win, so kind of went the way I was expecting.
Yeah,
yeah,
Panthers was coming at us. Already writing me out or writing me off. Falcons beat the Rams 38 to 3. We again kind of expected that. The rage from the stand up from stamina, that was funny. And then, put some fucking respect on my name. Lions beat Seahawks 45-35, and pretty sure we now have a new rivalry or a personal vendetta. I don't know which one yet, but were you
Well,
anybody surprised?
I was definitely surprised because I did predict the Seahawks to get the win, and apparently Alex listened to the podcast and took notes, and yeah, so I'm always here for the rivalry. So if that spawns something new, a little more energy in the league, I'm all for it. So
yeah, definitely was surprised with that result. I've played spacing. He's a very good user. I've actually yet to play the Lions, so I'm not sure what I'm going to get when I play him, but I was very surprised with that, to say the least.
Yeah,
yeah, Lions is sneaky. Well, I know Carter has you know pretty intimate knowledge of him because they're in the same division. But he's a sneaky good player. And I played with him. It's probably the fourth or fifth Madden now. Like I think just if he's invested, he can be locked in. It just seems like sometimes it just depends on how invested he is or not. He seems to be invested this year or this Madden, should I say? So he's gonna be a tough out.
yeah, he's definitely somebody that if you're wanting to try a new playbook out, you can't do that against him. He'll if you're not okay, I gotta actually pay attention and try here. He'll beat you. I will say that about him. He's not a bad user at all. um, but moving to the AFC, you have the Nubdini and Titans. 42-31. I did watch that one. Noob has a new offense. He's using U trips as his main formation, and it was close up until the end. The Titans gave him everything he could go for. That score is a lot closer than what it actually is.
I mean, Titans is just Like he's a quarterback away. I think like he's it's not for lack of trying. He's been looking for a quarterback for probably since the beginning of this cycle. Like every off season, every year, he's trying to find a quarterback, and it's just tough if you don't have a quarterback, as Jets can attribute to, and pretty much anybody that plays the game. It's like it's tough. Like it's not impossible to win without a quarterback, a good quarterback, but man, does Madden make it tough. It's like you have little room for error if you don't have like an ability quarterback.
Yeah, Jets. Was this a game that kind of put your eyes on Noob, or I mean, obviously Noob's a great user, but was it one of those like, okay, let me keep an eye on him, or
Yeah, so well, I actually did watch this game too, and I believe I want to say I thought the Titan was really controlling that game. Like his defense was just like nasty. He was getting stops. Just at the end, his offense kind of like fizzled out, and then Noob Dini, you know how he plays. He's just gonna load it on if you're giving him any type of space or anything like that. So I was kind of worried with that. I didn't think my defense could handle all his fast receivers.
well, before we continue, did you watch any other than that game? Did you watch any more of the playoffs, or were you just kind of keeping
I
eyes on who you may face?
I watched. I didn't see the Jags game. I saw every other game besides the Jags game.
Okay.
So I was pretty locked in on the playoffs.
Okay. Well, next one is I wish I had the clip or just that little sound bit of spacing saying you guys are giving Bills too much credit. 73-5. That was, I mean, he can get pissed off at me or block me like he already has. That was pathetic. I watched it pathetic. To lose to a backup quarterback, not only to lose to a backup quarterback, but losing to a backup quarterback is fine. It's close. It's 73-5 to throw 10 interceptions. I don't give a fuck if you're drunk, high, retarded, all of it. That can't happen.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you are drunk and you're in, I don't give a you know what mode. Yeah, it can happen. After about the fourth one, you're probably just like, I don't care. Da 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 da. But that being said, at some point you got to be like, man, let me just stop the bleeding and get out of here. I'm not gonna win this game. Like me just continuing to throw. Like I didn't watch the game, but yeah, like I saw the fallout the next day, and I was like you said, with his backup quarterback and me playing against Ravens or against Rock, like it's like, yeah, man, like you're supposed to let Jonathan Taylor beat you, and I don't know. I didn't even look at the stats. I didn't care to look at the stats. It's just like I saw 10 picks, and I kind of already knew what was up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It wasn't even close. Like, let's be real. Like, we've all lost our fair share of Madden games. Like, we've gotten blown out. I can say for a fact I've never scored under 5 points. I've never scored anywhere near 5 points in a football game, and I've never given up 70. So it's like, at what point do you just realize like maybe this game isn't for me?
I mean, I've
Like
scored less than five before, but I definitely didn't have my
70
opponent
drop
scoring
70.
70 when I scored less than five. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like at some point, like you said, you got to put pride aside and just be like, you know what? Let me just run. Like if you run the ball three times, that's 2 minutes off the clock. Like you don't even have to chew clock. That's just me running it and saying this is not my day. Whatever. And like
yeah.
I don't.
Just get out of there, honestly.
Yeah, and in the playoffs, it makes it even worse. Like regular season game, you can kind of say, hey, I'm trying to get stats from my player or da 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 da. In the playoffs, like that literally means nothing. So take your L and keep it moving.
Yeah.
But
Keep
that one
win.
stings though, because you gotta wait basically 2 weeks to a month before you can even redeem yourself.
Well, what makes it worse, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we had resign period here that came up, and my man didn't resign.
Yeah,
So
off season
I
finally
don't know.
done right.
That was
Yeah,
crazy. That was
yeah, I don't know.
wild.
It's like, dude, you like a lot of your key pieces you let ride when you could have had other guys that you could have I'm the Bills in another league, so I kind of know what he's up against. And when I saw some of those names in free agency, like, dude, who did you resign? Like, and why did you keep him? Like, I know you probably have Stephon Diggs still on the team. He's probably like 33, 32. I mean, you probably could have moved him and kept someone like a Greg Russo or something. I don't know. It's not my team. I'm not running it. So James
Yeah.
Cook, he's gonna do well somewhere else. I wish I had Cap because he would have been back home in Miami if I did have Cap.
Yeah, and I think the next game was the upset of the entire playoffs for this season. The Chiefs beating the Jags, and I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Chiefs, but I didn't think that he would one hold the Jags to only 35 points, and two, in reality, beat them. But 36-35 over Jags. I mean, and of course, Jags comes in here and hey, next year's my year.
Yeah.
So
But
I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I think in the original one I said Jags is very inconsistent in playoffs. He could very well lose this game. I think I did say that because I'm just like, you never know what Jags you're gonna get. And really, his biggest issue is that like his offense is really good for the most part, but he just doesn't seem to care about defense. I don't know what it is. Like he just doesn't care. So if his offense just has any type of hiccups, he could very well lose games. Like if he played just a stitch of defense with how his offense is, he'd be more of a threat. I don't know what it is about his defense.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like I think we played this season. I think I put 70 something on him, and he only had like 30. And some of those points were just in like garbage time where I was just throwing a defense out there. But it's like
Yeah.
one play touchdowns. Like he's given up. He's given up like easy, quick drives. Like it's no defense at all.
Yeah, I don't think he just I don't know, like, at least for me when I play defense, I try to disguise my coverage a little bit. Disguise my defense. Like there is no disguising his defense when he's out there. And it's like, okay, if you have, especially if it's man coverage, like for you Jets with, your quarterback and your receivers, you see man coverage, it's like, okay, boom. I know XYZ is going to work against man coverage. And it's like, there's no just care to change the shit. Like, I don't know. It's me, I'm a defensive guy. So, like, that shit just kind of annoys me. Like, I got to have my defense be, like, somewhat respectable. Like, to just get march up and down the field like that, it's demoralizing. But if you feel like you can outscore everybody, like I guess he thinks he does, who cares about defense, right?
yeah, I know 2 Maddens ago. What was it? 22. He was his defense is actually pretty good, and offense was really bad. And then last year was his offense was crazy good, his defense was okay, and then this year it's his offense is good and his defense is awful. It just may be one of those things where it just his play style doesn't fit with the Maddens currently.
Well, his defense was meta last year. Like, it was just man and edge threat elite, which a lot of people did. So it worked out for him. And then he also had, the A Rod syndrome last year that helped him. So, yeah.
I'll never get over. I'd be hitting these throws without him. No, you would not.
Yeah.
But moving on, NFC wise, Bears play Lions 52-32 in a. It was close, then it wasn't, then it was close again, and then it just wasn't. Then Falcons and Cowboys came down to a last second field goal. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see this game because I was dealing with something. Were you guys able to see it, Jess? You said you were able to watch part of it.
Yeah, I watched it. It was so weird. Like I've because the Cowboys uses his interior D tackle. So it was literally just as soon as he hiked it, if Falcons was under center, it was an immediate sack, and it was crazy because I played Falcons. He's a great user. He actually beat me in the regular season, but it was just instantaneous. Like his offense could not move because he was getting sacked within 2 seconds if he was under center.
Yeah, well, the Cowboys with his pass rush is crazy. I've my first time playing him, it was actually a really big problem. I think I threw 4 picks. I ended up winning, but it was one of those games where that game was close because his pass rush made it close. Uh, but I mean, it's great because what he does is he uses them. He'll break like whatever block he's in, and then he gets out of it and uses another D end, and it just works. His team, Cowboys team, is just super loaded. But back to the AFC, new plays Raw. I was able to watch that one. It was kind of like I said in the prediction video. If Raw was going to have to throw the ball and played from behind, he was going to struggle. He only scored 12 points, but he kicked 3 field goals. Actually, I believe that's 4 field goals. He had every opportunity to be able to score, and it's one of those where it's like you kind of think he does score a touchdown, if not every single drive, if he has Lamar. And I mean, Noob just was able to capitalize off him throwing and Max Duggan not being very good. Uh, were you guys able to watch it? Were you surprised by anything?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I'll
you
let
go.
Jess.
You go.
You can go, Jess. Go ahead and speak.
Oh, okay. Uh, I watched it. It was just a case of he was always behind, and then it was actually pretty close in the first half, but he just could not. He was getting stopped in like the 20, 30 yard, like near the red zone, and he just could not get any yards in that area. That was probably his biggest thing, and he just couldn't stop Noob in the second half.
So I didn't watch the game, but was Jonathan Taylor getting like locked down? Because I know like dude went crazy when I played him. So like I guess did Noob like kind of zero in on him once he realized Lamar wasn't playing or something?
It was more of he was just he would get down to the 20 using JT doing whatever. Then for whatever reason on first down inside the 20, there were no run plays for that whole drive and he wouldn't get a yard. So like he kind of went away from what was working when he got down to the red zone.
Yeah, looking at the stat sheet, he only had 78 rushing yards total that game, and Taylor had only 61 rushing yards. Duggan had 17. So that's another thing. But against the Chiefs, you've already kind of discussed or said, it's either a blowout or it's close. So we'll move on into the next one. It's you and Noob. I actually didn't get to watch this one, so kind of give us a rundown how to go and what were your thoughts during it.
So it was tough because I felt like I was playing terrible defense on the first drive, like absolutely just awful, like Swiss cheese. But on like one play, I think on in the red zone, I had Chuck Clark jump like a drag route and it hit him right in the chest. And when like two players collide, no matter what the defensive player is dropping it. It was one of those. And I was thinking, okay, it's one of these games. Like I'm gonna have to deal with all the BS that Madden's gonna drop my way. But it ended up being like he actually ended up getting screwed with Anthony Richardson getting hurt, and Geno Smith came in and just started throwing ducks. So it was a really disappointing way to end the game, I think.
That's Madden for you. And I guess to make it worse, like you said, I didn't watch the game, but you said that the play that he got hurt on was like not even like something that should have warranted an injury, which that's when the RNG in the game just kicks in and you're like, dude, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, it was like him stepping up in the pocket, and he just got like tackled from behind, and it just dislocated his hip, and he was done for.
Yeah, that's tough. It's one of those where I feel I've had it happen to me where it's a fun game and then something like that happens. You're just kind of like, well, damn. Now, no matter what, this win has an asterisk next to it because Anthony, do you feel like you would have lost that game if AR stays, or do you feel like you still win that game?
Um, when he got hurt, it was his ball on like in the goal line, something like that. But I think the ball he threw a pick on, I feel like it was a pick no matter who it was. Like you can have Brett Favre in there, and it was probably still a pick. And then I seriously like I threw one pick that game, and it was when the game I feel was already in hand. but he really couldn't stop my offense. Like the 3 stops he got were the pick I just mentioned. Running down the half. It was like I was on like the 2 yard line. I tried to scramble and I got tackled short. And the other one was Tyler Lockett just dropped the ball in his hands in the end zone. So it's like I just felt like I played near perfect offensively. Just my defense was slacking.
Well, coming into the NFC Championship, uh, just to give a rundown of what my game plan was during that, it was I've like I said, I've played the Cowboys before, and I knew kind of where he would go. He got really frustrated the first time we played because I have knockouts on my DBs, and at the time I had AJ Terrell and my Browning, and Browning, and then I have a safety with knockouts as well. So he really, if you press, he really likes to throw to CD Lamb, and he would get really frustrated because Terrell would, his ability would kick in. So I knew that all I really had to do was stop short stuff and just rely on my abilities, and that's what ended up happening. I ended up winning 39-13. I think he had a really tough game offensively. If I'm not mistaken, I think Trey Lance at one point was like 1 for 8 for 20 yards. It wasn't a fun one. And to just cap this video off, the Super Bowl, Jets and Bears. Jets end up winning this with 49-32. I think you and I can kind of go back and forth on it. I'll let you start first. What was your game plan going into it? And obviously, it's your revenge tour. So
I just remember like we haven't played in the regular season yet, so I'm going off of what I saw last year in the Super Bowl. It was those out routes to Chase Claypool and like those and like just corner routes in general and like those dink and dunks to like Chase Claypool or anyone running underneath that was just giving me problems last year. So I kind of keyed in on that. And I was just like, I just wanted. I threw like 3 or something picks last Super Bowl, so I just wanted to like minimize my mistakes this time.
yeah, going into it for me, it was, and I think we could all agree with this Madden defense is awful. So when you play good users, you're going to be scoring back and forth. It's really who makes the first mistake. So my game plan was try to bend, try not to break, and I mean I blocked your field goal, and I thought, okay, well, I'm in a good position. I ended up going up by two possessions, and where I really think I hurt myself was going for it on fourth down when it was 10-7. That's where I really think I hurt myself, and it ended up biting me in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of what I was doing was still working. Red zone, my red zone offense was awful. I had it work one drive, and after that, I couldn't score. So I mean, that's kudos to you. It was 49-32, but it always those games or that game felt like it was a lot closer than that. I just didn't capitalize. There was a few picks that I didn't think that your DB would be able to reach, but he's able to reach.
Oh yeah, the one I think it was you try to throw like a seam ball, and like my corner, no abilities, no nothing, just jumped up and grabbed it. Like I was just preparing myself for like next play kind of, and I thought that was kind of a crazy pick. And you also got like a fumble when you rolled out. I thought that was like a little garbage, but you know what? I'll take it at the end of the day. Like it's Madden, not playing real football.
I'm sure having X Factor Zach Wilson this year definitely made a difference too. I definitely in my prediction I was like, man, playing X Factor Zach, bro. I'm like, that's a handful, and you have him pretty much locked in for the rest of this cycle as long as you're here. So the way your offense is like, you're going to be a threat, pretty much a contender in the AFC as long as you're here.
Yeah.
And I mean, you made it 3 straight Super Bowls, so it's like you could potentially go on a run here where it's like you're representing the AFC as long as you're here. That being said, now I'm not going to be full strength next year, but I'll be way better than I was this past year. So hopefully I can be a little bit more competition.
Yeah. Definitely need that in the division. It's tough playing a Mongo. Then you immediately play Bills. It's just talk a good game, but can never actually back it up with any sort of results.
I will. I will say this. It was I lost full on the fact that my DBs just would not cover a corner route. I would have everything adjusted to it. They just would not cover a corner route. Like Garrett Wilson's corners were killing me. I don't know. I would shade outside, do it all, and I would literally I saw Stevenson just stand there and just kind of I'm pretty sure he threw his hands up at my coach like, what the fuck do you want me to do? And I'm just like, do something.
Yeah, corner routes are definitely busted.
Yeah, corner routes this year are just out of hand. Like you pretty much have to either A, user them, or B, hope your knockouts kick in. And really, it's going to be hard for them to kick in if it's a X Factor or a superstar ability guy catching them. If it's like a normal guy, he'll probably drop it. But like usually, if it's someone with ability, it's tough. They're going to catch it anyway. It's just, I'm not going to get on the EA tirade, but it's every year it's something different with this game, man. Like, if someone really wanted to, they could spam corner routes all game, and more often than not, it's gonna work. It's almost like how the stretch was a couple years ago. Where it's like, okay, they can stop it 3 times, but the fourth time is gonna break loose. It's the same thing with corner routes.
Yeah, I also had a few like I one big injury was Chase Claypool. He broke his thumb in the NFC Championship game, so I had to deal with Komet or however you pronounce his name, and he was good. I mean, he did well. It was just Chase Claypool is really strong and fast, so I was missing about 10 plus speed, which I don't know makes a difference, doesn't make a difference, but it was another fun year. I think this playoff run and season altogether was probably the most fun I've had this cycle. Um, I don't know, but I know for C-Mart it probably wasn't that fun, but yeah, it was a good one. I'm looking forward to obviously this next season. I just traded away AJ Terrell for a first round pick, and I know C-Mart's excited. He's got his first. He's back to full strength.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Like, I'm not at full strength, but I had to let Tyreek go, but I really wasn't too worried about it. He dropped 3 speed, which I think is mainly because I didn't get to play with him at all this year, like except for like the last 2 games. And then and his salary, because I restructured him, he was due to make 70 mil this year. So it was like, yeah, it was a no brainer cut him. And then Jalen had to go too. But in the grand scheme of things, it was either keep those guys and then like not resign Waddle, not resign Jalen Phillips, not resign Channing Tindall, not resign Tua. So it's like those dudes are 30 and 31. It's like, yeah, don't want to let you guys go, but I got to look at the big picture here. I got to sign the young guys. So, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I mean, last year was very humbling. I embraced the challenge, tried to do what I could do, but I don't want to have to go through that shit ever again because that shit was brutal. Like, I got to a point probably halfway through the year that I could only do 3-4 or 4-3. I couldn't do nickel because Jalen Ramsey would get on the field. Couldn't do quarters, couldn't do anything. So guys would do 5 wide on me, and I'm sitting there with 3-4. It was rough. So, but if I had to be the sacrificial lamb and to, hey guys, take care of your cap. Don't go crazy with the restructures because this is what can happen. Fine with it. Despite what people think, there's not favoritism against commissioners because I literally self-reported that. I don't know if anyone would even notice if I didn't say anything. So, it is what it is.
Well, any parting thoughts before we sign off here, Jets?
Um. Yeah, I got one. Next year, I'm just giving a public service announcement. If it's me and Raw in the AFC Championship, and if you're in the Super Bowl again, bro, I don't even know. Like we in the playoffs, the NFC gotta lock in a little bit. We gotta make it, a little tougher for y'all. But Definitely want to see some new names. You know, I'm not going to give it up, but definitely want to see some new guys in there this year.
C-Mart, you have anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I don't really have nothing. Like, draft in 20 minutes. Let's, ready for this next year and see how the draft goes, and always bring some new excitement when the draft happens, and guys are excited to share their rookies and all that. So I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, it was another great year. I am kind of with Jets. Like, I like to see some new people. That means I'm putting myself under the gun as well because I play this guy twice a year, so I kind of control whether he makes it or not. So I got to do better as well. But overall, despite all the bickering that goes on every once in a while, I think the league is a pretty good league, and we got really good engagement, and just looking forward to the next season.
Alrighty, well, you heard it here first. We need new faces. So until next time, peace out.